Welcome back to the channel. Our new mini series is called Address the Mess, and today our topic is Stop Hiding in the Trash. What are you hiding from? Why are you running? And it's easy for us to sell ourselves short and run away from what God is calling us into. What? Is even Saul a prophet? How did the son of Kish become a prophet? Can anyone become a prophet no matter who his father is? When I was reading this in First Samuel, it was crazy because Samuel, he, all right, that's a precursor for this. The people of Israel, the children of Israel, they wanted a king, and God, he didn't want them. He didn't want them to have a king because he knew how this people was. He was like, "Hey, I'm in charge because I know it's y'all cannot do this. Y'all cannot function with this right now, right?" But Samuel, he was a prophet, and God was like, "Hey, they keep on asking for a king, give them a king, and they don't see what happens. Give them a king." Saul was just doing his work, just hey in the fields with his family, doing his work, right? And then we get into verse 9. As Saul turned and started to leave, this is after Samuel said all these things to Saul, and he was like, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen." And Saul was probably like, "What? What are you talking about? Like, I'm not a king. I'm not king material." And then verse 9 it says, As Saul turned and started to leave, God gave him a new heart, and all Samuel's signs were fulfilled that day. When Saul and his servant arrived at Gibeah, they saw a group of prophets coming toward them. Then the Spirit of God came powerfully upon Saul, and he too began to prophesy. When those who knew Saul, heard about it, they exclaimed, "What? Is even Saul a prophet? How did the son of Kish become a prophet?" And one of those standing there said, "Can anyone become a prophet, no matter who his father is?" So that is the origin of the saying, "Is even Saul a prophet?" And Saul was not looking to be appointed to anything. It found him. And that happens a lot of times. God can appoint you to something that you did not place any thought toward. And that was me in a lot of places, in a lot of instances in my life where, like, hey, I did not want to be a leader. I did not want to do a lot of things, like, especially for example, in high school, being in band, being in the squad, being in my section in the trumpets, I did not want to be a leader. Like, I was playing my trumpet, I was cool, but I was like, man, when I'm a senior, like, I want to be behind everybody. I don't want to, like, be that lead person, leading people alone. So with that, I kind of sell myself short, and it probably prevented me from being a better trumpet player than what I was, and thus prevented me from being the leader that I could have been in those areas of my life in those times where I was, not trying to step into different activities at church because I didn't see myself as a leader. But then college came. And of course, like Saul, I was placed in areas where I saw people that were like me, right? And I kind of gravitated towards that. Like, I want that. I want to be a part of that. And the only way I could be a part of that is by being a leader. So God, He led me somewhere where I couldn't hide in the trash anymore. I couldn't hide in my own setback, my own filth. I had to step forward and present myself in a new manner, in a new likeness. And Samuel prophesied to Saul and told him everything that was going to happen. Right? Saul knew what was going to happen, but he didn't know the setbacks. He didn't know the people that were going to challenge him. Right? And that's important to know. When somebody says a word over you, yes, it's great. You receive it, right? But when you go out those doors, when you go out your house, when you leave the sanctuary, know that the world, hey, they're gonna attack you. Like, hey, man, isn't that what's the name? Look, like, isn't that little JJ that used to stutter? You know, that's Abby from down the street. Like, she dropped out of school. Like, how can they lead us, right? And that might be you, and you might be, swaying me between who do I listen to? Do I listen to the words of God, or do I listen to these people that have no control, no power, no direction for my life? And when someone speaks of your future being bright, this is what happens. Number one, people will doubt your capabilities. And number two, they will laugh at you and despise your upbringings. Like, they know you. You grew up with them. They know who you are. And when God is doing great things and you try to tell everybody, hey, do not tell everybody. Like, tell the right people. And God will put those people in your life. But when you're navigating, like, hey, God gave me all these dreams, like Joseph. Like, hey, there's people out there like, hey, that's great. And then in their minds, like, nah, man, like, I don't like you. Like, and they trying to, like, say all these things to bring you down. And if you allow that to happen, you will not grow into the full image of what God is bringing you to, right? And He needs you to lean into His word, to lean in to His callings, because He calls you for your specific thing, right? For your calling, for your giftings. He didn't call anybody else. It's unique just to you. You might be part of a team that your overall goal is the same, but your tools and the way you get about it, right, is different. Like, if you're working at a school, like, you have a janitor, you have a teacher, you have a principal. Everybody has the same goal, but they have different pieces of how you're gonna get the whole body to the final destination. You following? And to close this out, from First Samuel again, chapter 10, verse 17 to 24 says, later Samuel called all the people of Israel to meet before the Lord at Mizpah. And he said, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, has declared. I brought you from Egypt and rescued you from the Egyptians and from all of the nations that were oppressing you. But though I have rescued you from your misery and distress, you have rejected your God today and have said, no, we want a king instead. Now therefore, present yourselves before the Lord by tribes and clans. So Samuel brought all the tribe of Israel before the Lord, and the tribe of Benjamin was chosen by Lot. Then he brought each family of the tribe of Benjamin before the Lord, and the family of the Matrites was chosen. And finally, Saul, son of Kish, was chosen from among them. But when they looked at him, he had disappeared. So they asked the Lord, where is he? And the Lord replied, he is hiding among the baggage. So they found him and brought him out. And he stood head and shoulders above anyone else. Then Samuel said to all the people, this is the man the Lord has chosen as your king. No one in all Israel is like him. And all the people shouted, long live the king. And it's crazy how Saul, man, this handsome looking king, right? This handsome guy was hiding in the trash. Because he knew, like how I knew, that God was calling me to different areas. It was like, hey, I got God, I know what you're doing, right? And I'm gonna run, I'm gonna hide, and I'm gonna have you play hide and seek with me. Like let me see if you'll find me. And I don't know how Saul was thinking, but in my mind, I was like, man, I'm on some cruise. I'm gonna do all this, but God had new and different plan for me, and I wouldn't be here doing these YouTube videos if it wasn't for that. If I was still in the trash, I wouldn't be here, right? But God does not leave you in the trash because you're a treasure. And God is not, He's not just finding you, right? He already knows where you are. You're trying to find Him. And all He's doing is, like, hey, He's just helping you out, reeling you in until you understand and see that the burden that is on you is light. Like, it is nothing. If we think it's everything, it's like, oh man, we got the weight of the world on our shoulders. No, like I for me, I say I got the weight of the Lord, the favor of the Lord, the blessings that is coming, right? And when I have that, it's like when I wear the word of the Lord over me, like as a coat, like nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. And I want that to be the same for you. And don't hide in the trash, in the baggage. You're not baggage. You're special. You're unique. You're selves. And you have the same decision I had. You can either run and hide, or you can step into what God is calling you to. And that is the ultimate goal that I want for you all. If it's starting a YouTube channel, if it's going back to school, if it's applying um, yourselves and like to be a teacher, a youth pastor, whatever it is, go for it. If it's God's will for your life, go for it. Don't hide. I did that for a number of years and I can't get those years back, those memories back. I can't. But what I can do is prepare for my future. So I love y'all. Hey, next week, same time, 7 o'clock on Friday. Good Friday. Peace.